Today, we're going to explore how AI can revolutionize the way you create your own design brand. Taking the example of urban decoders, I would generate a brand based around cities and technology, looking at logos, backgrounds, styles, and imagery as shown now in the background. As always, these tools act as an aid to the designer and can help generate ideas and artwork. It's a great starting point and can even come up with ideas that you might otherwise have struggled with. I will be taking you through 3 pieces of AI software, including ChatGPT, MidJourney, and new AI tools within Photoshop. Together, they are very effective at covering the broad aspects involved in brand generation and tweaking your results have greater control. Firstly, if you assign a role to ChatGPT, it's a great way to get more accurate answers based on the job you assign. Here I assigned the job of graphic designer and gave the task of creating a brand for me specializing in urbanism and technology, using of course the name Urban Decoders and initials UD. I've requested for fonts, color styles, and imagery, which should suit this genre. 3 categories have been produced and nicely bullet pointed. The advice seems reasonable. For example, it says here the logo should use the letters UD, incorporate geometric shapes and lines which link to cityscapes. And it gives me also possible fonts as a starting point. There are some vibrant color schemes showing what they represent and how they link to technology. For example, it's saying that deep blues are a common primary color associated with tech. And then various images are suggested, such as abstract cityscapes, circuit patterns, or data visualizations. There's also a nice reminder here by our AI graphics designer to keep exploring until we find something that aligns with the values of urban decoders. Suggestions hint quite a bit on the cyberpunk genre, which is a very vibrant and interesting style to play with. So I can ask ChatGPT to elaborate more on this to get some ideas, perhaps to use for my image generation later. The same 3 categories are elaborated on with the focus on dense cityscapes and vibrant neolights associated with an immersive cyberpunk experience. Perhaps for a logo or consultancy, you would want a cleaner image, not associated with a dystopian tech future. However, this is a good case to demonstrate the more creative capabilities of AI. So with this in mind, I can use this for our image prompts. Over in MidJourney, I can begin taking on this advice. For the prompts, it is better to keep them succinct. I found starting with the phrase a vector logo, it works quite well. And then follow up with the letters that you want to use. So here UD, and one of the fonts suggested, and then some of the style references from ChatGPT. When I do this straight away, you get this vibrant neon lights with an abstract cityscape around the letters UD, which is exactly what I asked for. You will also notice that some of the generations ignore the prompt white background. One way to give priority to this is through word weighting, whereby after the keywords, you type a double colon and a number. The higher the number, the more priority given to it. However, since we are only giving priority to one feature, here 5 is fine. In the case of these logos, the color background actually gives us a lot more ground to play with, so I might stick with this. Additionally, if you type /settings, you can change the MidJourney version and the stylization amount. So here medium is fine. If you stick high, you obviously get more creative interpretations by MidJourney. Also, you can add remix mode, which allows quicker iterations with this button appearing next to your generations each time. Here they are very decorated logos, but if you want just simple letters, you can type letters only or white background. However, even with these stylized logos, there's a clear font used for UD, which we can extract and simplify in later steps. Once again, it's just a matter of iterating and changing the words, whether it is adding more colors or different fonts. In regard to fonts, you can, for example, cite famous logo designers in the prompts. So over back in ChatGPT, if we ask for a list of famous tech logo designers, we get examples such as the creator of Apple, IBM, Slack, and MIT logos. If you copy one of these, such as Michael Bierut, you'll begin to get more simplified logos in their style. For example, we will stick with this stylized logo, and we will move on to processing this further. We will be using the generative fill in Photoshop, currently as beta, so you will need to install this version from the Adobe Cloud. I'm sure it will very soon be a permanent addition to the Photoshop. If you drag and drop your chosen logo onto the canvas, you have this new toolbar appear under the image with some fairly useful functions. First one is to remove the background, which makes a rough mask over this background. So this can also be refined further by selecting the mask. And next to the Generative Fill button are handy options for feathering and editing the selection further, without having to go to the main toolbar at the top of the page. The AI is never perfect, so you have to manually use Photoshop tools in the usual fashion to correct and edit. You can of course generate a logo within MidJourney with a black background, as previously shown, but it's good to know you have this option. With the background removed, now you can use the famous Generative Fill button to further play with backgrounds to match the logo style, which could also be used in other areas of your branding. This works in a much simpler way compared to MidJourney, as Photoshop automatically takes the current image as a reference, so it matches it much better. Just type a simple sentence, such as sci-fi, abstract, vibrant cityscape background, and you can see the colors are taken from the logo to match the generated background. So here it's very vibrant and digital as suggested. There are always 3 non-destructive options generated, which you can click through or press generate to generate another 3. The great advantage with all this being in Photoshop is that you have the usual manual control, whereby you can edit certain features or colors, for example. Also, in a similar way, you can invert the mask to select just the logo, and you can even produce new patterns within this logo. By understanding these basics, you can see the power and control to produce as many graphics designs as you like. Of course, you can then do your small adjustments, such as changing the hue or color, as always in Photoshop. Finally, I would like to show you a quick way to vectorize your graphics so it can be scaled or edited more in Illustrator. If you have an Adobe account, you can go to the web service Adobe Express in this web link. And one of the nifty tools is called Convert to SVG. As the name suggests, you just need to drag and drop your image here and it will convert an image into an SVG file. If you drag and drop this SVG file then into Illustrator, you'll see that they are all editable vector lines. Even these super complex patterns are vectorized, which is amazing. Although this workflow makes more sense on simple logo designs and line work. Also, you can always just extract the main lines formed by your AI, which will always be the base of your logo. And then you can always continue the AI iteration process with this. It can be once again just referenced into MidJourney and you could process some more. This was just a brief overview of the AI techniques available to you in your branding, imagery, and logo design. This is a great way to get started with your design explorations and idea generations, and I hope you enjoy creating your own using these techniques.